There's only room for one spoiled rich kid at this school, and that's me.
Hello, it's Fatzoid TV, and we're back here with another spicy number. Today, we're going to be looking at Prank Kids. So, Prank Kids is an archetype that is similar to Zodiac in the sense that every single monster that you have that you can summon that's a Prank Kids monster allows you to kind of go off. So, monsters we're talking about are Prank Kids Fancies, Prank Kid Lampsies, Prank Kid Roxy's, and Prank Kids Dropsies. Any one of these monsters allows you to go off and do your full combo, and we're gonna go over what that combo is. But first, we're gonna explain why we're running Skill Drain. You're like, oh, you have all these effect monsters, why you're running Skill Drain? Well, these monsters, their effects float. So when they get sent to the graveyard, and you're going to be sending a lot of them to the graveyard due to link summoning and fusion, the abilities activate in the graveyard. And since that isn't affected by Skill Drain whatsoever, and you also are having your main battle monster, which is the Battle Butler, that card tributes itself, so it is unaffected by Skill Drain. There are some mistakes that you can make with this, but the main mistake is using Prank Kids Meow Meow to stop this from tributing itself, which would be quite a blunder. But other than that, the deck is, you're going to see that it's kind of runs similar to Zodiac in the sense of it runs a lot of hand traps, because like I said, you only need one of these to go off. So you're running the Max C package, Ash Blossom package, the one Nibiru for the cross out designators. We have 2 Forbidden Droplets, we're running Infinite Impermanence, and we're also running the Called by the Graves. So it runs a pretty large hand trap package. But yeah, let's go into the combos and what makes this deck so good. Okay, so typically you want to be going first when you're playing Prank Kids. We're going to see here why that is. I mean, we're running a bunch of hand traps, but we're also running a bunch of cards to negate hand traps. So you want to lead off with any Prank Kids, go into Meow Meow, special summon Fancies. And it really, honestly, doesn't matter too much what you're special summoning here. We're going to Dodo. Prank Kids Fancy's ability activates. Send the card to the graveyard. We're going into Dropsies. Now we're going to mix them both again. We're going to link summon into Bow Wow Bark. Now this, you want to lead off. So this is important right here. Unless you have one of these in your hand, and what I'm talking about is Dropsies, Fancies, or Lampsies. If you have one of them in your hand, you don't necessarily have to grab this. You can get the yellow, you can get rocks. But the reason why we want to get red out again is because we're going to be using Bow Wow's ability here, and we're going to see it shortly. But you want to be grabbing it because that's what the fusion for battle bosses, the Battle Butler. And we have Prank Kids Pandemonium. It allows us a fusion summon, but it's from the hand. We kept one Call by the Grave in case we kept one Call by the Grave just in case he ends up just lightning storming, so I have something to combat Max C on my following turn. But we shuffle back Lampsies because we have one on the field, and that's due to the pranks. Now we do this on after his draw step. You want to make sure that you have your it is turned on. You want to be doing this at draw step, so he doesn't have, he does this bare minimum he'll have to interact with it. He can still interact with it with obviously like a Call by the Grave or something like that, which would be pretty unfortunate, but he doesn't. So what this ability does, the Bow Wow Bark, is we get to target 2 Prank Kid cards in the graveyard, add them to the hand, and your Prank Kids monsters cannot be destroyed by battle effects. So, and the reason why we can use Meow to keep this card alive on the field, but the reason we sack it is just so we're not opening ourselves to get Infinite Impermanence. So if he did have Infinite Impermanence, he's not just we're not like losing everything because we're not screwing ourselves over because so. And you might be asking, hey, Fatzoid, why with infinite impermanence? Why wouldn't you want to save it for the battle? Because the battle is not a one-time effect. You can keep using it over and over. So I decided to use a Pandemonium now. We got Battle Butler. Now the crazy thing is, this is what's crazy. Now we can summon 3 different prank kids on my opponent's turn, which is like nuts. And I'm also gonna chain that with Battle Butler's effect using the Meowsties, so I can just kill this whole board. And this, like I said, it's not a one-time effect. Like, if he plays another board, I can sack him and blow up his whole board again. This is just unfortunate. He had Silver's Cry and Called by the Grave of the Blue Eyes. And he's conceded. Now, so you see here, we're doing the same exact thing, except we're leading off with Roxy's. Like I said, it's not that big of a deal what you lead off with, but I had a second Roxy's in my hand, which I didn't want, so I wanted to use Roxy's ability to dig a little deeper to see if I can pull out anything else. Which I got another Crossout Designator, which is not the worst card to get, because like we said, we have a lot of hand traps in our deck. You can use it to counter cards that you might have in their disposal. The main one I'm thinking of is if he has Called by the Grave, and he ends up using it for Bow Wow, I'll have an answer. So he set all 3 cards face down. Let's see what our opponent does. Well, he's on some type of photon strategy. Again, we just get blue and red because we had green in our hand already. Immediately activate this. We could have waited, to be completely honest, but I think because the thing is, when you're running Skill Drain and you have Battle Butler, you have to think about using the ability, and he just surrendered. I don't think he had anything to really deal with it. So when you're running Skill Drain, important thing, and you have Battle Butler, you cannot, if you have the Skill Drain active, you're gonna have to sacrifice the Battle Butler. You're not gonna be able to keep it around, because if you end up using Meow Meow to save it, the effect will be negated. So it's not gonna go off. I just want to make sure if you're playing this deck, you do not make that mistake. Okay, so I am playing in solo mode, and the reason why we're going to be playing in solo mode real quick is just so I can slowly go through everything I was talking about. So activate Prank Kids. Prank Kids Place. And we haven't even gone over this card yet. It's a very strong card. And I'm going to show you exactly the reason why it's so strong. Allows you to add a card from your deck. Let's just add, do you have anything we want to cycle? Nope. Let's just add Fancies. Let's play Fancies because if we're playing against a real opponent, the Fancies, they already know we have it in our hands. We don't want to give them more information than we should. We're going to link off Fancies to Meow Meow. Fancies ability activates. Typically, I usually get rid of like the field spell because honestly more field spells aren't it's kind of repetitive. It's not like something, I mean, yes, it would let me to tutor another Prank Kids, but I'm not really going to need it, as you're gonna see. So we're gonna special summon, we're gonna summon the Lampsies. Now we're gonna go into Bird. Now this is what I'm talking about. So if he had monsters on his field, this would be activating, by the way. So it allows you to pretty much put this trigger in front of these abilities. I'll show you when it's in the opponent's turn. But you always want to activate Dodo first because his ability is more important. And then Lampsey second. This will protect you from getting your Dodo, Doodly, whatever his name is, ashed. So yes, we want a special summon. We haven't summoned Blue yet, but let's summon Blue. We're gonna grab Pandemonium. Opponent knows about it. Isn't the end of the world. Go into Bow Wow. Remember what I said. If you have one of the cards in your hand, you can send Roxy's out here because you're not going to need the 2. All right, so we're going to set Skill Drain. We're going to set out Crossout Designator, and we're going to set this. Then we are going to end our turn. So he's activating. I have a bunch of activations I could do right here. We're going to activate this. Typically, you want to activate this on his draw step. So where this says on, off, you want to keep this on. So when after his draw step, you can play Bow Wow. Activate Bow Wow's effect. But it's a bot, so I didn't really think much of it. So remember, we have Dropsies in our hand. We want to grab Lampsies, and we want to grab Fancies. And also remember, Bow Wow's effect can grab spell cards, which if you remember Fancy's effect, it allows you to send any Prank Kids card from the deck to the graveyard. So if you're trying to tutor a certain spell, like a Pandemonium or something, it might be worth if you're planning on Bow Wow. And Bow Wow's effect can only be happened on your opponent's turn, which is another big thing right there. All right, add both to hand. His ability activates. Playing Light Sworn, so you want to watch what your opponent's doing because there are Light Sworn cards. Special summon. Okay, oh, that would have been one. We know he's gonna go into an Xyz. So let's maxi now. But we can just, if he's about to end the main phase, I would activate the Prank Kids at this moment. So we're gonna this. There goes our hand. But now we have this guy who's insane. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, you have two decisions here. You can activate Prank Kid's place first, which is like an attack steroid. It gives 500 attack to everything on the field, right? Or you can activate it at the end of the chain, and I'll show you that right now. I'll just do that, it doesn't really matter. So you activate all their effects in a row, because remember, fusion effects activates their effects as well. There's only one fusion effect that does not activate that is in pretty much every Prank Kids list that you're going to see, and that's the Thunder Fusion. And when you activate this on the end chain, it again stops you from getting ashed. So now he won't be able to ash me. We're just gonna activate this effect now, might as well. We banish the Meow, and the Battle Butler gets to go ham. See, it lets me activate Battle Butler's effect again. So if Battle Butler is infinite impermanence, you can just activate the effect again, and it'll still go through. Like, he'll get tributed, but he'll go through. I think we summon red. Green summons blue. Oh, darn it. See, okay, so this is another thing you have to watch out for, because I've done this mistake too many times to count at this point. And not like, it's never been like costly, but if you're going quickly, because when I'm playing combo decks, I like to go as fast as possible, because I don't like making my opponent wait. I feel like it's kind of rude after a certain point. Dude, I do this so often. Not so often, but I do it enough where it's kind of annoying. Where I don't pay attention to Fancy's effect, and I think I'm clicking on the card that special summons because I'm not reading. I can guarantee you, if you play this deck and you're someone like me where you play quickly, you'll do the same exact thing. And that makes me feel a little bit better, at least. So we're going to go into first card. We're using red because we know we have more green and yellow. We summon yellow, I guess. We go into Dodo. We don't need Forbidden Droplet at all because we have Skill Drain face down. So remember, just getting once you get used to just keep doing these combos over and over and over again, I think you should take it slow at first. But once you get used to them, that's exactly what you want to be doing. All right, you want to make sure you can go quicker is what I'm getting at. Special summon a monster, sure. All right, well, this allows me to get another Pandemonium, which I wasn't expecting. I wanted to grab the Pranks because we only run one Pranks. And the Pranks is a nice card. You're gonna notice. We're just gonna make something wacky, right? We're just gonna make the weather. So I'll talk a little bit about this guy too. Let's activate it. So this guy, he has two abilities. There's certain reasons to use him. So this effect right here, during your opponent's turn, you can tribute him, target 2 Prank Kids. Also, non-fusion, so you can target link monsters. Which I'm gonna show you why that's kind of useful. Sack. All right, we're not gonna fuck this up. Let's send the Prank Kids place to the graveyard. Special summon a Roxy's. And see how we're running out of Prank Kids in our deck? This is why this Pranks card is so effective. By the way, never do this because he had infinite impermanence. He just fucked me. Just FYI, but I know this deck doesn't have it. So we're going to activate the roaring, and you might be saying, hey, how come you can't meow the roaring? Well, meow is only on your opponent's turn, so you cannot use meow for whatever you want to do here. So we're not going to kill him, So this is the secondary effect of the weather washer. When you attack, when any of your kids monsters attacks, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. So if he had some type of, like, I don't know, some type of effect or something that's like a battle damage effect, he would have to use it pre-combat. Because once you make the attack, it's gonna happen. So this is what Prank Kids Pranks does. Now, I don't think every list runs this, I'm gonna be honest. But I do. So this is what I'm talking about. So activates this ability. Let's not even use that. You could have, but make sure you have the things pointing the right way. And you can still activate Bow Wow. So it's really good because now, like, if I wanted to, I can go into an access code talker or whatever, like very easily because I have 2/2s out. That's the main thing. I'll show you the Thunder Dragon fusion too. Why not? Because this card's Thunder, so this is another way you can get the card out. Also a good way of getting your Prank Kids back in the deck. Prank Kids Butler, here's another one. Now, another thing I also want to point out is we run Predaplant, Verte, Anaconda. The reason we run this card is very, very obvious when you look at it. It allows us to get our Thunder Dragon fusion out of the deck. So there are boards where you can end off with Prank Kids Battle Butler. So what did we learn about Prank Kids? So what I believe that I hope you guys learned from Prank Kids is this list is an absolute. There's other Prank Kids lists out there that are really fine. Honestly, Decode Talker, if this account had enough for Nightmare Unicorn, I would replace Decode Talker with Nightmare Unicorn, and I think this looks pretty darn good. So yes, what you want to be doing, what you want in your opening hand, preferably, is if you have one of the spells helps, but it's not mandatory. I do like opening up with a Prank Kids in a Prank Kids place because most opponents, if they do not know what to ash, they will ash this spell. So I do like opening with that. But ideally, what I believe you should have taken away from this is you want to get into Battle Butler. And there's multiple ways to get into Battle Butler. Rip and Roar, also a very good card, but it's not something you're going to be doing turn 1 every game or even most games. Turn 1, there's a few boards you want to end with. I think the one that you're going to use the most is Bow Wow with one of these. You end off with Bow Wow with one of these, use Bow Wow's effect on their draw phase, or like standby phase or right after draw phase. And right after you use that effect, you can hold on to Pandemonium, because usually I like to have at least Pandemonium down in case they have some type of lightning storm type effect. Sometimes they'll use their Raigeki and stuff into Bow Wow too, which is hilarious, because obviously his secondary ability says cards can't be destroyed by card effect. So yeah, so Pandemonium, I usually like to hold it until I see them starting to assemble some pieces, till they start committing to the board. And the reasoning for that is very specific. You don't want to wait too long. If you wait too long with Pandemonium, you don't want your opponent to be able to have some type of negate effect for it. So if they're going into, let's say they summon, this is like kind of a ridiculous because not many people play the card, but let's say they have a level 3 and a level 2 and one of the cards is a tuner, and you know there's a possibility that they might have a Notoria Beast. Yeah, I think it's probably a good idea to Pandemonium straight away and then wipe the board. So don't allow your opponent to make these plays. That's the whole point of Battle Butler. He prevents your opponent from making plays because if he commits too much to the board, they're gonna lose. Like it's a 1 for 3, 1 for 2, 1 for 4. And it's very hard to come back from that. A lot of the times your opponents will just scoop. Like I said, and like the title, like the thumbnail of the video, I went on a 29 game win streak this deck, and it's not because I'm amazing at this game. I am pretty good, but it's because the deck is very strong, and You're probably gonna see more of it. I don't know why more people don't play it. It's definitely free to play friendly. And you might be laughing considering you're saying, "Oh man, you got look at all these ultra rares you got." This is a free to play account. This is not my main account. Which hence why it's plat 5. I just hit plat 5 last night. So this deck is 100% doable. And I also want to point out, this is so free to this is what a free to play account gets you. This is one deck I run. This is another deck I've been editing and playing with. This is a Dark Lord deck, and this is another deck I've been playing. This is a 10 list. But the point is, if you craft all these cards, if you crafting and you're crafting these staples that are used in a lot of other decks, right? It's going to, let's be honest, it's going to help a lot. Like, you're going to be able to make other decks. So this is a free-to-play account. I haven't spent a single dollar on this account, or any of my accounts. And you're able to make at least like 3. This is very budget-friendly, this Dark Lord. But this Prank Kids list, if you don't have these cards, like if you don't have Instant Fusion, I think Instant Fusion is really good, but like if you don't have it, you don't need to run it. Like there's certain cards in this you don't need to run. Like you have Forbidden Droplet, you don't need to run these cards. I think Skill Drain, you should run this because how strong it is with the Prank Kids, and Skill Drain hoses so many decks. Like if you're playing against, let's say, if you're playing against like Sky Striker, like Skill Drain is so annoying for them. Like they can't do any of the things that their monsters can do, and if they have like a monster like a hand trap heavy hand, they're gonna have such a tough time dealing with Skill Drain, because they don't like that deck doesn't run that many back row removal. They run like a few, and then they depend on their monsters to recycle their cards over and over. So that's what you guys have to understand. Like Skill Drain hoses so many decks. There's certain decks that like if you're playing, like if your opponent flips over a Skill Drain, you just concede. You can't really do it. And since you're able to run 3 in this deck, you might as well. I hate playing against this. Anytime I play against this, I'm yelling some profanities at them. But when you're able to play it, it feels really good. So yeah, if you don't have all the ultra rares that you're seeing right here, there are some you can cut. Like, I think Totally Awesome is an insanely good card, and you can actually get it out somewhat consistently with the drop seed, because how obviously all the Prank Kids. Is it 100% necessary? Not really. Some people might say, yeah, you need it 100%. I really don't that much. It is, like I said, very good card, but I don't think it's 100. Realistically, only need one of these. You should have at least one of these. Even mine, I'm like running a budget friendly version. I have Decode Talker instead of Nightmare, because Decode Talker is given to you, but I needed some type of 3 so I can go into Access Talker with 5,000 attack. So Bow Wow, you could actually up Bow Wow to 2 if you want. I've just been using him at 1, but I was using him at 2 for a bit. If you're not running Instant Fusion, you should run these regardless. You should run these regardless just because it could be useful for Prank Kids. But like Instant Fusion's the main reason you run at least a Rocket Ride. But it's a super rare. Craft it. Don't be come on. I have 53 super rare stuff left over. Like I feel like this game gives you a lot of super rares. You need to run 3 meows. No argument there. You should run Access Code Talker. There's no reason not to run. Too insane not to. Like the fact that your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card is so insane. Let's see. Terraforming. I don't think terraforming is 100% needed. Sometimes terraforming is nice if your opponent is on like a really like field spell heavy matchup and you have a crossout designator. You pretty much just ash their terraforming without using ash. So that's pretty funny. It's also a nice thing when you're running a lot of these generic cards that your crossout desert can hit a lot more opponent's deck. That's why you run the one-ofs, like certain one-ofs, just because, not the terror, like we should run certain one-ofs this, because of crossout designator. Actually, if you could bump this to 3, like if I could replace maybe one forbidden droplet with a crossout designator, I probably would do that. That's how good this card is. But I don't have the ultra rare and I don't want to disenchant. But yeah, so this is Prank Kids in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, any roadblocks you're running into, I most likely am. It's the 25th, I think today. Yeah, it's the 25th. I actually think that I will I'm plat 5 right now. I just hit plat 5 on this account. And I think I could probably hit plat 1 before the month's end pretty easily. It's not top of my list because, like I said, my main account's already plat 1. But it's something. And then I have 3 accounts total right now. And my second account is still plat 5. I haven't grinded it mainly because the main deck on the account is 6 samurais and turns take very long. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and if you could please like, subscribe, and comment, that would be amazing. It would help me out so much, and really look forward to making some more videos.